There is backlash, to say the least, tonight against NBC's Matt Lauer, who hosted the network's presidential forum last night. Many considered the primetime event to be a dry run for the upcoming presidential debates, but Lauer is getting hit hard with criticism for his questioning of both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
What have you done in your life that prepares you to send men and women of the United States into harm's way?
Well, I think the main thing is I have great judgment. I have good judgment. I know what's going on. I've called so many of the shots. And I happened to hear Hillary Clinton say that I was not against the war in Iraq. I was totally against the war in Iraq. You can look at Esquire magazine from '04. You can look at before that. And I was against the war in Iraq because I said it's going to totally destabilize the Middle East, which it has. It has absolutely been a disastrous war. And by the way, perhaps almost as bad was the way Barack Obama got out. That was a disaster.
People talk about you and Commander-in-Chief, and not just Secretary Clinton, but some of your Republican opponents in the primary season, and they wonder about your temperament. And they say, does Donald Trump have the temperament to be Commander-in-Chief?
How will you determine when and where to deploy troops directly into harm's way, especially to combat ISIS?
As briefly as you can.
What was our decision? Our decision was to try to put together an international coalition that included Russia and China to exert the kind of pressure through sanctions that the United States alone could not do.
Right, but you said you think you're going to cheat.
Look, this is an important issue. I know we're on TV. We don't have a lot of time.
I want to get to a lot of questions.
I will talk quickly.
Reaction was overwhelming and not in a good way on Lauer. Chris Cillizza of the Washington Post tweeted, quote, Matt Lauer was tougher on Ryan Lochte than on Donald Trump. Paul Krugman, a fixture of the New York Times editorial pages, tweeted, quote, multiple questions about email. Trump lies blatantly, not for the first time, about Iraq. No follow-up priorities. Vanity Fair editor and Newsweek writer Kurt Eichenwald tweeted, and I quote, I think Matt Lauer was trying desperately to impress others in the press to prove he's not just a morning show lightweight. Failed. And Washington Post fact-checker Glenn Kessler tweeted, quote, Matt Lauer needed to do more homework for both candidates. Very poor follow-ups. And finally, U.S. News and World Report's David Catanese tweeted, quote, the left is steamed at Matt Lauer for letting Donald Trump off the hook. Well, not only that, there was also criticism for the fact that he seemed to be hustling and hurrying Hillary Clinton along. Joining me now is Fox News Sunday host and host of this year's third presidential debate, my old friend Chris Wallace. Chris, your reaction to seeing the roasting that Matt Lauer is taking?
Well, I have to say I was surprised. I watched it last night. I thought he did a pretty good job. He certainly was tough on Clinton for the first, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it was, about the emails. He was tough on her. I don't think he was unfair, but he was certainly tough on her. And, you know, should he have gone back at Trump when he falsely claimed that he had been for the war, the invasion of Iraq before it happened? Sure. But having said that, I mean, think of what he got Trump to say, or Trump under questioning ended up saying. He said that Obama has reduced our military to rubble, that the intelligence briefings tell him that Obama and Clinton didn't follow what they were being told in terms of intelligence. He's uncomfortable with the idea of men and women serving in the military together. He talked about the fact that we should take the oil from Iraq as if it's something you could put in a FedEx box and ship out of the country. I mean, it isn't as if Donald Trump didn't have a tough time, too.
So what does this whole episode, and particularly the response to to Matt Lauer, say to you about the climate for being a debate moderator these days? And that wasn't even a debate.
No. Well, a couple of points I would make. One, this has become a highly partisan campaign, and the criticism not just of the candidates, but of us in the media and how we handle the candidates has become hugely polarized. I think that, as you mentioned, a lot of this criticism, most of it came from the left, whether they're trying to work the refs for the debate, whether they just are unhappy that they thought he was tougher on Clinton than he was on Trump. I don't know. But the big difference, I would say, between what Lauer was doing and what I'm going to be doing is a debate moderator. He was an interviewer. So he was the only person up there to hold Trump or Clinton to account. The big difference is when I'm on the debate stage, they're both going to be there. So if Trump says something that Clinton doesn't like, guess what? She's going to have an opportunity to respond to that.
Well, that raises the point of, in the situation you'll be in, what is your obligation to say to Donald Trump, well, wait a minute, Mr. Trump, You know, we have an interview that people have heard from the radio in which you apparently supported the war before we went into Iraq. I think you may doubt that it's part of your job to do that.
Well, look, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do in the moment, but my disposition is I would rather have the two candidates speaking to each other than speaking to me. I mean, what good does it do whether I'm talking to Hillary Clinton? Let's say she says something that I think is false. Do I want to get into an argument with her? I'd rather have her and Trump fight it out, and vice versa. If Trump says something that Clinton believes not to be the case, you know, you make yourself too big a figure as the moderator in the debate. It's not a debate anymore. It's like a couple of side-by-side news conferences, and I don't think that's the point.
So your intent would be, in a situation like that, to quickly give the other candidate the opportunity to pick up on what appears to be a factual misstatement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying that if they don't, that I won't, but that would certainly be my preference, is that they ride herd and keep check on each other.
So are you looking forward with high anticipation and good humor toward this event, or are you looking forward with some anxiety to what you're about to face?
The answer is yes. No, sure, it's a great honor, but you know, if I didn't already know, and I do, that this is a high wire act, and that the media can, and certain elements of the media can and will use anything you say or don't say against you, the experience of Matt Lauer last night certainly put any of those doubts to rest.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've always thought that, you know, having done a few debates myself, is that, you know, you want to be strong and sharp, so the candidates will be strong and sharp, but you don't want to make yourself the story.
Exactly.
Poor Matt Lauer seemed to make himself the story last night by trying not to make himself the story.
Exactly. But, you know...
Not easy.
Well, as I say, I have the sense that for some people, if they think that the person they don't like has done well, then they're going to blame it on somebody, and maybe in this case it'll be the interviewer.
Well, I won't blame it on you, I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Can't wait to catch you on Fox News Sunday this week, and that's on the Fox Broadcast Network. Check your local listings. If you don't already know where it is, don't miss it.